Yeah, you're good.
Hey, here we go, everybody. It's Always Bookin Comedy. It's Monday night. I'm Mark Masters. We got Jack Weiler.
Yeah, Weiler, you got it. It's
Weiler.
common when people
Should have
screw
stuck with my guns there. Weiler. Formerly from the Bay Area, now a New York
Yes.
City comedian, right?
Yeah, I just moved here like a month and a half ago. So
I can't. I'm going to ask all about that, but I want to
yeah, for
resume
sure.
a conversation we had at Vendetta's Pizza in Vale about marketing shows. I've
Yeah,
been dying to have this conversation for a long time. So you
yeah, for sure.
started like a pretty hot show in the Bay Area, right? What's it called?
Yeah, it's still running today. It's called The Secret Show at Mr. Mahjong's. It's in like the basement of this like kind of swanky Chinese bar in Union Square in San Francisco. And there's like a basement with these lantern lights. And yeah, it's like behind a hidden door. And yeah, it's running every Friday, 8 p.m., run by my buddy Art Galustian still.
Amazing. How
Yeah.
many people can get in there?
Yeah, the venue capacity is really like 55. You can comfortably have 50, 55 to like anything more. You're like squeezing it too tight for the show to be comfortable.
Sure,
Yeah.
got it. Sounds awesome. So how long ago did you start that?
Yeah, so we started that one maybe about 9 months ago. It started as a monthly. And once we were selling out the monthly consistently, we moved it to be a weekly. We had been running shows though in San Francisco for the last like almost 3 years. We tried free shows, we tried Tuesday shows, we tried Thursday shows, and this was the first one that really like stuck as something that we could sell tickets to regularly.
Yes, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Why do you think it worked?
I think because it just had a vibe that like people wanted to go to. I think in a city you have to like there's so much competition for things that someone can do, right? Like there's they could go to a play, they could go to a big comedy club, right? Like we did have some success running. I run a show in the suburb once a month still outside of LA, and that one we're able to almost sell out like 80 tickets every time.
Okay.
But that one, it's just there's no competition, right? There's no club within 30 minutes. And
Right.
so in a city, like what's cool about this is like it's just a cool vibe. Like the marketing, like it's just a literal black flyer with like in red lettering. It just says secret show, and there's like the Chinese lettering of the. It's just like I don't know if you see it and you're like, oh, this is kind of mysterious. You click on it, like, and I think that's.
Right.
I wish I had a clear answer, but I don't know.
So I want to talk about online marketing. But before we do that, let's talk about talent a little bit. I
Yeah, for
assume
sure.
you get great comedians there because it's a fun show and you're in a great city for comedy. Talk about.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I will say it was actually funny. Like as the show has been building momentum, it's one of those things where like, now we're able to get like the best comics in the Bay Area, like kind of without any like difficulty. But at first it was like, people just, oh, it's another show that's probably just coming up, and like I'm not gonna like take this instead of some other like good weekend gig that I could get. And honestly now the only time we can't get someone is if they have like a headlining gig somewhere that pays much more. I mean, because it's a showcase style, like we only have 6 comedians doing 10 to sometimes 15-minute sets, and we're only paying 35 to 50 depending on the length of your set. And so if you're getting hundreds of dollars to headline something, that's the only time. But at this point now, we've built up enough momentum that comics like want to do the show versus us being like,
have
hey,
you had
we do
any out of town drop-ins?
We've had some comics from LA who have credits, drop in. Folks who used to be in the Bay Area. We're hoping to maybe like I think now that it's running and like comics are popping through San Francisco, like we almost had Nick Kroll do it, but he ended up I think not doing stand up that night. But I think as the show has been going on, I think we'll probably get some cool drop-ins.
That's awesome. Do you have like if you're in the Bay Area, are you on for sure?
Yeah, I mean, I have the booking sheet still on my phone, so I can add it whenever I want.
There we go. Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I'm most curious about.
Yeah, for sure.
So 55-seater. How much are tickets?
$15, and we do a $10 early bird deal until the like Wednesday before. So yeah, it's not expensive.
Taking in like maybe let's call it $800 in revenue.
Like if we sell out, it's about 800. Yeah.
Yeah. So how much of that do you spend on ads?
About 500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, headline news right there.
Yeah.
And
About $500.
did you ever spend 500 and not sell 500 in tickets?
Yeah. No, not 500. We've always sold more than that, but then we have the comment cost too. So
Yeah. You've
our
lost money is what you're saying.
yeah, we've lost money overall. We're like, now it's moving and it's almost selling out every week. So it's like we've built, but yeah, the margins on this show are not like if your like goal in producing is to like make money, this is not a good example of how to like make a lot of money.
I think it's
producing.
a fascinating example though of like you got to spend money to make money.
100%.
And you created a great show with what I think is an enormous budget. That's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more than half of your potential revenue you're spending on ads. How do you break down that $500?
So this is actually an interesting point because we've been talking about like maybe scaling back the ads now because we've been selling out just incrementally and seeing like what happens with the tickets. Typically we'll do about we've played with different things. I think right now it's about like 350 into Instagram, maybe 100 into Google, and then I think maybe 50 on like like some other miscellaneous like listing site in the Bay Area that puts you. Oh yeah, no, it just puts you on like this thing that like puts you on different like local listings.
Okay.
To be honest, like I'm not sure the exact breakdown right now, but I know we started higher on Google, and now we're higher on Instagram. So
interesting. And when you say Instagram, is that like the royal Instagram? Does it include Facebook, or do you just not do Facebook?
Yeah. So we do Meta Ads Manager, but we actually only list to Instagram. So this is an interesting thing in our show in the suburbs outside of LA. I do Instagram and Facebook, but we sell more tickets through Facebook. So I actually over-index on Facebook there because I think it's a bit of an older crowd. Yeah. But in San Francisco, which is maybe more young, our audiences are a lot younger.
Yeah.
They're not really using Facebook. So we actually only do Instagram because when we've done both, it's converted to a lower like ticket conversion.
Huh. And what about, do you know people who come back and buy tickets who didn't need an ad?
Yeah, so we're starting to get a lot more repeats. We're starting to get like we're starting to get a lot more people who are like, so I would say now it's probably like 2/3 of the tickets are new ads, and then a third is now repeat customers.
That's awesome.
Honestly, it might even be less. I think it's maybe more like half, and then half of the other half is like people who have heard about the show from a friend, and then the other is like repeats plus the people they immediately brought with them.
Yeah. Word of mouth. That's great.
Yeah.
Do you do any email stuff?
That's one area that we like honestly could probably sell more tickets through, because over the years in San Francisco we've amassed like probably like 2,000 person email list, which isn't like, it's not a lot. It's not like gonna release, it's not gonna sell tons of tickets. Like it's not gonna be, we're competing with like the setup is like a long running independent production in San Francisco, and my guess is have like a 15,000 plus person email list, and they're able to, I think, really sell tickets via an email list. Like I think we could probably sell a couple maybe per show, but I think it's one of those things that like, it's just me and my co-producer, we both have day jobs, and we're also trying to be comedians, and it just to set up like email marketing like is just another
task.
It's just another thing, and like if we don't really need it right now, like we're still collecting all the emails, so I think it's probably something we'll explore going forward.
Yeah, or if you ever did a special show in a bigger room, you could use that. That's smart. Okay, how about here's a question for you.
Yeah.
How do your ads differ between Instagram and Facebook? And then of those ads, second question, how do the meta ads differ from Google advertising? I've never advertised with Google. I don't know how the platform works.
So Google, I mean, you can do different kinds of ads. Like Google, you can do placement ads like you would on Facebook, where it's like you have some media or something, and then it'll come up like as a like image on YouTube or on any other Google like application.
Okay.
But what we do for Google to make it different is like than the Facebook is we do search ads, right? So like when you look up, when you bid on a keyword essentially. So like there's different keywords you can bid on. Like you could bid on comedy club. So when someone looks up comedy club, the more you're like willing to bid is the higher.
Is that a keyword you use? Like what are some of your big keywords?
To be honest, like my co-producer has done all the Google like stuff. I know ones we've tried are comedy club, comedy show, actually like we've tried like since we've actually found people have occasionally confused our show with Don't Tell Comedy because it's like we call it Secret Show. So we tried bidding on Don't Tell Comedy once. That didn't really do much because they bid so much on that like we were always losing out, so it wasn't worth it. But these are just sort of like some of the like weird things you try beyond just like the initial like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. This is the obvious ones. And
so sorry, the search result ads, those are just text.
Yeah, it'll just be like text, like you have a headline, like it'll be like, you know, Secret Show, live stand-up comedy. You can modify it to whatever. The interesting thing with Google, which I found you need to do a lot more of than with Facebook, is like constant optimization of your search, because it's a bid. So unlike Facebook where you say I'm willing to spend this amount of money per day, with Google Ads you say I'm willing to bid this much on this keyword, and you only pay when someone clicks on it. But every time someone clicks on it, you pay, so your cost can go like up a lot more.
This is off topic, but I've been doing this since like 1999, probably before you were born.
1 year before.
Like scrolling, I always scroll down past the advertisement link and click on the. Do you do that now?
I actually do that. Like sometimes, I would say like there is a conditioned piece of me, like because you see the sponsor and you're like, well, this actually isn't what I want.
Right.
But I do think now, like I do have like one stupid idea we had, which we didn't do. Like, because it's not the right thing to do, and like we're not bad people, but like we're like, oh, should we just click on our competitors' ads a bunch and like drive their costs up? Like you could, in theory. I wonder if Google's smart enough to like know if you click more than once, like in a time frame on the same thing. Because I'm sure someone's like.
Well, I'm talking about the opposite. Like, do you now have empathy for online advertisers?
Oh yeah,
like,
actually,
let's say Ace Hardware. You know, you're searching for that, and there's an obvious like they're going to have to pay if you click it. But you can already see, because it's only like a couple inches below Ace Hardware, the organic result. I always click that one, and I'll scroll down to find the.
So I wouldn't say it's like a conscious thing, like, oh my God, but I did like the other day, I clicked on an ad for something and I was like, oh, this cost them like whatever. Like and it did like, I wish I could say I would have been like maybe like more thoughtful about it, but like, it is something that I'm now aware of. And like, I think if it was like a mom and pop shop, I would like go maybe, you know, if it's like.
You Venmo them a nickel. Out of guilt. That's awesome. Okay. So Google is mostly text and you got to optimize it more. How about the difference between Instagram and Facebook?
I would say generally it's about the same. It's more like Facebook, it'll just be a picture and then it creates the post for you. On Instagram, we'll create a post and then like boost that post via the ads manager. But
do you know what kind of campaign you're doing? Like, are you driving traffic to a ticket link? Are you
it's like
increasing awareness? There's like
it's whatever the one is called that's like increase like click through on like a specific link. I forget what the name of it is, but it's like drive traffic to a particular link.
Increase website traffic, maybe.
I think that's what it's called.
That's interesting. That's one I use too, because it's easiest to see the metrics on my end. Like I don't always trust their numbers.
We have tried. I don't think we're running it at this moment, but like in the past like month or so, we've tried, because now the show is weekly, right? Like we've tried doing the drive through traffic, but then adding an additional like awareness campaign that just runs at like a couple bucks a day throughout the month. That's like a reel that's just like basically to increase impressions, so that when they see the drive through one, they click on it more. I don't think it did a whole lot, to be honest with you. That's the thing. It really just comes down to money, like on these ads, I think, because like, so we had run shows before and we'd done all this before. And the reason we started trying to spend so much was because we were talking to the like local Don't Tell producer, and he was saying that they spend per show, I think around $450. And we were like, they're spending $450 and they have a big brand attached to it. Like they already have awareness. If they're spending that, then that to sell, maybe, I mean, they're selling more tickets at a higher cost. So like, we didn't think we needed to spend like they're selling about maybe 100 tickets at 30 or 80 tickets at 30 or something, 25. So, but that's where we kind of ballpark got the number of like, yeah, you probably need to spend like in a city, yeah, about 500,
Yeah.
400 to 500 per
Okay, so I
show.
got a couple questions. I'll
Yeah,
say them both so I don't forget them. And I just want to
yeah.
remind people, if you're watching this later, if you tune into this show live, you can actually ask questions in the chat and we'll
Oh, okay,
respond.
cool.
So, and if anybody watching live right now wants to ask a question, fire away.
Okay.
Okay. Do you, how far out do you have shows booked and tickets available?
Okay.
And how far in advance the other direction are you trying to advertise? So I guess
Okay.
it's more relevant to like a monthly show. Like, would you start
Yeah.
advertising? Do
So I
you
mean, I can
understand?
speak to the
Okay.
monthly show that I have. So we have like a monthly show, right? That's in the suburbs, and that one we like. So we have the Eventbrite listing out like for every show, I think, because it's the third Friday of every month. So we can make the Eventbrite listing like up to like 6 to 8 months out, like basically enough
When you
buffer
do
that
that, you don't feel
yeah,
like
we
that's gonna like cannibalize sales or anything? Because I see
no.
some rooms that like don't advertise more than a month out, but I know because their headliners contact me and tell me they're
Mhm.
flying in and they want to do my shows. Like they're
Yeah,
already booked like 9 months in advance.
yeah,
Uh,
we do it for one simple reason, which is like because we're running an ad, right? And but it's only once a month, but like some person might not be able to go to the show that month, right?
right.
And so but they might see the ad and be like, oh, I am free in September, and we do actually get tickets, not a lot, but like a
Yeah.
few tickets sold for each subsequent show from the ad that we're running. But like for our monthly show, I start an ad about 2 weeks out,
Okay.
at less amount of money at like $10 a day, and then the week of I like incrementally like juice it up to like 20 and then like $40 a day for a couple of days.
Okay.
That show is great because it's the suburbs. Our cost per click is about half of what it is in San Francisco.
And then once you sell it out, do you stop spending money?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Nice.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it now it's we've upped the ticket prices a bit, so it hasn't been selling out lately, but like,
Sure.
it's still selling well and we're making money on that one. Like
Yeah.
that one's one I do to basically, like, I'm hoping to start a show soon in New York, and so I'm using that as sort of like a bank of money to use as I'm like losing money on shows here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible. I want to ask you about finding venues in New York in a
Yeah.
second, but let's talk about demographics. So
Yeah,
like
sure.
when you're advertising that weekly show,
Hmm.
like how big a radius, what age,
Yeah.
what gender, what kind of
Yeah.
keywords are you putting in?
Yeah, we're doing the radius is really small. I think it's within 1 or 2 miles of the show. I
Okay.
think maybe 2. But demographic, I think in San Francisco we do like 25 to like 40,
Okay.
split equally like male female.
Okay.
And then in the suburb show we do more like 25 to like 50, I think. And then same thing, split male female.
Okay.
But and the
If you
radius is about the same.
if you had oh really? In a suburb it's just like 2 miles?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I've tried bigger, but it just doesn't convert as well. I mean, I think like these suburbs, like it's in like the Inland Empire in California, which is still pretty densely populated. So
Okay.
there's enough folks like within a 1 to 2 mile radius that like it's okay. Like maybe comparing to like in like Steamboat or wherever else, like it's gonna be less folks per capita, so you probably have to jack the radius. But in this case, like it's tight. So
Right.
yeah.
Nice. What was I just going to ask you? If you had to guess at your
Mhm.
shows, are there more men or more women?
So women actually buy tickets more than men.
That's where I'm headed towards.
Yeah.
I've talked to many show producers that only advertise to women because of that.
Yeah, yeah. We probably could try that. I mean, we do sell tickets to men. But it is like majority women buying, especially in the suburbs. Like the show, it's like almost all women that buy.
Yeah, I kind of wish there was a little more fine tunable where you could say like spend 75% of the money on women and 25% on men or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Which you could kind of manually do, like if you alternated by days, but who has time for that?
Yeah, yeah. It's just like that's one of those things that's like, if this was my full-time job, like maybe I would try to optimize those things more. But this is like my third sort of like thing that I'm doing every day, so it's hard to optimize too much.
Yeah. So let's transition into was there anything else you wanted to share about marketing a show? Congratulations on having a great show.
Yeah, no, thanks. No, not really. I think it's just honestly like a lot of trial and error, really. Like it's not, there's no, like we had a lot of really shitty shows before we got to something. Hopefully this wasn't a clean podcast, but before we got to one that is good, you know, like we had a weekly show for a year and a half. I mean, it lasted for a long time every week, but it just was barking. It was like all kinds of stuff. Ironically, there's a dog barking behind me.
I know,
Said that, which is like really funny. But yeah, no, it just a lot of trial and error, and I don't think you can really like beat, like kind of game that in any way. Like I think you kind of have to go through like the fail. It's like kind of like we used to think about it as like bombing and stand up, right? Like you have to bomb to get good, and like in this case, we had to like hand out flyers in the park and do like all this random stuff that's just like
and there's also like an element that like winners keep winning. So like now it's like a flywheel. Now that you have like the momentum, it's easy almost. Yeah, it's on like
this show is easy. This show is on
hard to start from scratch, but once
which I'm feeling right now in New York. I'm feeling that struggle of trying to start from scratch.
So let's talk about that. What's it? So you were in the Bay Area. Give us like the 1 minute synopsis of your arc in the Bay Area.
Yeah,
why did you decide to move?
I moved to the Bay Area for like a job, non-comedy.
No, I mean like as you grew in the Bay Area. What level did you get to where you're like, I should go to another bigger market?
Yeah, I kind of got to the point where I felt like, so I'd been there about 3 years, and I was like, I either needed to stay there for like 5 more years and basically try to like become like the biggest you could like the biggest guy in Bay Area comedy, and like
which is what like past at Punchline.
Well, yeah, I mean featuring there, like, you know, I was like close to getting past, I think, as a host, but like I meant like past his feature, headlining like one-nighters there regularly, and really more than anything like hopefully getting some sort of like credit from the Bay Area, like some sort of taping or some sort of something, and then deciding to like move with like a decent amount of connections and cachet to hopefully be able to like get past at a club in New York or LA like pretty quickly. But I like grew up in Boston, and I was like, I want to be closer to my parents, and frankly, there's no guarantee you're going to get any of those, like you're going to get a credit or something like that from the Bay Area. And I just thought it would kind of stink to like be there for 8 years and then like not get any of that, and then be like, okay, well now I'm 11 years into comedy and I'm just having to do open mics all over again. And whereas in the Bay, like I was getting booked a lot, but I wasn't, you know, I was still doing mics, like I was still like grinding. And so I was like, you know what, I have the hunger in me now. I'm 25, like I might as well just kind of go for it. And took the leap of faith.
Did you consider other cities?
I mean, I think naturally you consider LA as well. I didn't want to start over in another like sort of satellite scene, like not New York, LA. I guess Austin you can include now. Austin's not really like my personal like sort of comedic like vibe, I don't think.
Right.
And so I didn't choose that. And LA, like I think LA would have been easier from like I just know more people there because of the Bay Area.
Yeah.
But I just hate driving, frankly. And no matter how good you are in LA, you have to drive a lot unless you're like Anthony Jeselnik and you can just like live in West Hollywood and just bounce between the store and the Improv. So I just, that was kind of just like and it was also far from home. So I was like New York was like the only place that was close. That's like, and if you make it in New York, you can do tons of sets and like really like, I think kind of get good. And like, I really just love to do stand up. And like, so
So how long have you been in New York now?
Almost 2 months, I think. Like a little less than 2 months.
Okay. And I assume you hit the ground running.
Yeah. I got in trouble with my girlfriend because I arrived and hung out with her, but then the second night I went and just did mics. But I've been trying to hang at shows, do a bunch of mics, and also like find a venue has been really my kind of first priority, because I just know firsthand how much having a good show not only helps you get your own stage time, but helps you get other stage time, because comedians are blood-sucking vampires that just want to like, you know, get on someone's show. And so I've been looking for venues for hours a week, like just looking at bars on Google Maps and alternative venues and knocking on doors.
And what do you do? Do you do cold email, cold call? Do you walk in?
I go in first. So like if I find something on Google that seems interesting, I'll like go visit it. Me and my friend, I've moved here with my best friend who I started with.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah. When you find it on Google, do you check to see if there's a comedy show there already?
Yeah, I mean, like I wouldn't go try to steal it. We actually went into a venue yesterday in the Upper West Side, and I was like, "Oh, this looks perfect." Blah blah blah. And then we told the woman, we were like, "Yeah, we want to run a comedy show here," and she's like, "Oh, I'm a comedian. I already run a show here."
Yeah.
And then it got like really awkward, and I was like, "Oh my god."
I guess I would suggest this to you. I thought that would have been part of your algorithm already, but I just Google the venue name in comedy because I'm always looking for venues.
Yeah.
And I've had that same experience. You go into the venue, there's a poster in the bathroom for a comedy show. You're like, I just wasted. I'm not going to poach venues either.
Yeah. No, we actually looked. Like I looked, but it was one of those things where she used to run shows there like a year and a half ago, but she hasn't anytime soon, and I didn't like even see it. It's not like it was on like Eventbrite right now. Which is a little like frustrating, but I get it. It's her venue. I'm not gonna like encroach at all. So
so is it mostly bars you're looking at?
So I'm trying to, as much as I can, see if I can recreate just like as close as we can to what we have in San Francisco, which is a separated like room. It doesn't need to be a basement. Like it just needs to be a separate area from a bar, because what's nice about that is you can usually negotiate, like you don't need to, like it's all upside for the bar, right? Like they can continue their normal operating and then just have something bringing in additional business. What you don't want to be, at least in my case, is like the place where you're using the whole space, because that puts a lot of pressure on you in the beginning to sell a lot of tickets. And there's not usually a lot of good grace if you're like taking up someone's business and not bringing them equivalent or more. And so I don't want to deal with that pressure. We are looking at some BYOB, like, sort of like places that aren't open at 8 or 9, and like they would just stay open a couple hours. I haven't really found anything, especially in an area where I don't feel like there's a ton of competition. That's the problem in New York. There's just so much competition. So I want to try to find.
Is there an element of convenience for the comedians? Like, do you need to be close to a subway stop or?
I would say yes and no, right? I think like eventually, yes, I'd love to be in a place where I can get comics who are working the cellar, like popping into my show, right? Like that would be great. I think right now I'm not trying to like be like, right now I just need to get on, like, I mean, I'm able to get a few like, shows here and there, but right now I just need something that like will give me good stage time. And I'm honestly prioritizing being in an area that's a little bit more off the beaten path in New York, to like build an email list and hopefully be able to like get regulars from the neighborhood who don't want to go into Manhattan. They don't want to go to downtown Bushwick or Williamsburg. Like they're like maybe in, and that way, like I can just get a show that's good rather than trying to like have to be barking for 3 hours before the show every Friday.
That's all killing. That's brutal.
Especially since you kind of have to do that to get in at some of the clubs here, right? Like you have to bark a bit. So like I don't want to be barking at clubs and also barking for my own, like I want to do comedy still. So that's sort of right now the focus, at least.
All right, we got a question from North Carolina, and do you stay in touch with the venue owners in case they have something down the road? And kind of related to that, what's it like when the venue owners say no, like when you get rejected? Like,
I mean, it stinks. Like it's not like fun when you get excited about a place. I would say the one thing that, so there's sort of two questions here. There's the rejection piece, and then the do you stay in touch. If they are I'll talk about the do you stay in touch first. If they actually seem interested in the idea, but just for right now it doesn't work out, I'll save their number, I'll write it down, and if like, in a few months, 6 months, whatever, like something comes up, like maybe I'll try again. But and sometimes they know other venues too, like they work with like restaurant groups or something that have like more. So that's something I usually ask up front, in which case like I don't like really need to follow up with them about that. But I am always like polite about it. I think in terms of the rejection piece, if someone's not interested off the bat in doing this, I don't want to work with them. Because I've worked with venues where it was like a force. And that's the thing. Our show in San Francisco, the owners are 100% behind us. They help us like with anything we need. And like that just, I think it just makes everything easier. And so I don't take it too personally. I just am like, this is not someone I really want to work with then.
That makes sense. Yeah. Can you tell me more about like getting started as an open mic comedian in New York City? Like, are you paying to get up at mics? Like, what's your strat? Like, how does this? I'll tell just for context. I'm in Denver. Pretty good scene. People move to New York on the regular and come back with their tail between their legs like 6 months later, pretty regularly. It seems like it's pretty hard.
It's brutal. but I think I knew that it was brutal. I think is part of the thing, and I'm like, I just like have accepted going into it that like it's gonna be a pretty like sad 2 years. Like no matter how well it's going, it's gonna not be that great. If something lucky crazy happens, that's great. But like I just know, and I think also because I'm younger, it's like okay, like have a little bit of time for this to be crappy. Um, I think the other thing is too, some folks like don't really do all the thing. Like you kind of have to do everything here. Like you can't just hit mics. You'll just die in obscurity. You can't just like hang at shows because then you're not like getting better at comedy at all. And so it's like a fine balance. I'm trying to figure out. I'm still figuring out the balance of like how much do I do a mic, more than one mic in a night versus do a mic and then go hang out somewhere and like meet new people, or how much do I focus on trying to run a show? Like it's all just like I think you have to figure out what a good balance is. And frankly, no matter what the balance is, it's still going to stink. But like I just know it's going to stink, so I have that in my head.
Is part of that ratio also out of New York City stuff? Like, do you ever get on a train to Philadelphia or Boston or fly to SF or like what? How does that factor in?
Yeah, I'm trying to like. When I first got here, I was just overwhelmed with moving and stuff. But I actually have a show in Stamford this week, and then I have a show in Philly the week after, and then I've got some stuff in Boston in September. So like, I am starting to do that. It's just like, I want to only maybe limit it to like 1 or 2 or 3 times, a couple times a month, like some because I don't. I also you want to be around and people seeing you, so that way you're not like just one of those comics that like, oh, I see them once a month because they're always gone, and there are people that do that. I think once a more.
What would you say your goal is in getting out of town? Like, what are the benefits of that?
Just
to you?
Getting like in front of real people, like big groups of people, because I'm able to get booked on some like bar shows here already. But you just don't really know what the show situation is going to be. So it's more just like, getting in front of 30 plus people to be able to just work the skill, keep the skill up of like really working a crowd, like, and just making sure don't lose what I've like built over the last, couple of years. So
yeah, for sure. Can you shout out any mics that you particularly like at this point?
Yeah, I like the Talon Bar mic on Thursdays in Bushwick. My friends Greg Gettle and Marty Cunny run that.
I love Marty. And he's a Bay Area guy. He did Vail Comedy Festival before you did.
Yeah, Marty's a great dude. I like all the mics at the Flophouse Comedy Club are great. I do those like multiple times a week because they're near my house. So I'd say those are my favorite ones.
Okay, cool. All right, we got to wind this down.
Yeah, for sure.
This was so fun, Jack. It was great conversation. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, anytime.
You're wise beyond your years. How can people find you? How do they book you in New York City if they want to find you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Jack A. Weiler. I have a website as well, jackweiler.com, so you can reach out either one of those ways. And I'd love to do any show, big or small.
Yeah. So right now it's August 2025.
Yeah.
You got a few months until we get into 2026. Like, what would be something you'd be excited about between now and 2026? Like,
I think if I could like feel like I'm at least in the pathway to getting like past at one of the like lower tier clubs here. Like I don't have to like be but like if I feel like I'm close or like in the process of like in development to some degree at one of those places, that would feel like a good win for me.
Nice.
And really just making some friends too.
Yeah. In comedy, you mean?
Yeah.
Or
in comedy.
Anywhere.
Yeah, in comedy. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, I'm rooting for you. I'm cheering for you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks a lot for doing this. Hang on for a second. We're going to shut this down. Everybody tune in.